In this video, we will see some of the top interview questions asked in Python for freshers. The first question is, what is Python? It is a general purpose programming language. Why do we call it as general purpose? It is useful for many purposes like web development, data science, machine learning, automation, game programming. And it's a high level language because we are not using an assembly language, but rather normal syntax of a high level language, which is easy to read and write. And we say that it is an interpreted language because we need not compile it before we run it. There are variations to this, which we will see when we see the Python questions for experienced people. The second is the key features of Python. One is it has a very simple syntax. You can create a variety of applications starting from simple scripts. We can do up to complex web applications, and we can run the same script across variety of platforms like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and Unix. And it is free and open source, and that is the major reason for its fast development because there are many contributors. And because of its simplicity and versatility, it is also used extensively in rapid application development. Python is a dynamically typed language. Basically, there are two types of typing. One is static and one is dynamic. One of the common static typed languages we see is C, in which we have to specify int x is equal to 1 before using the variable x. In dynamically typed languages like Python, Ruby, PHP, and JavaScript, we need not declare the type of the variable before we use it. And what the type of the variable is determined at runtime and not at the compile time. So it is sufficient if I give x is equal to 1. During runtime, it will understand that it is an integer. Because of this, it is also possible to change the type of a variable at runtime. For example, it is possible to say x is equal to 1 and use x is equal to 2.5 later in the program. Initially, x is an integer, and the second time it sees x is equal to 2.5, automatically it becomes a float. With the advantages of dynamically typed languages, there are also some drawbacks. One is the Python interpreter is unable to determine the type of the variable correctly in certain cases. The efficiency of static typed languages is higher because at runtime it is not essential to check what the type of the variable is. And also when there is an error, especially a type error, which is shown in the side, here it says x is equal to 1, print of x plus hello. X has been defined as an integer, and now we are trying to do a summation between an integer and a string. It can neither be concatenated nor summed, and this results in a type error. Now it is difficult to track the source of these kind of errors. A common question is, what is PEP8 and why is it important? PEP generally stands for Python Enhancement Proposal. It is a document which has all the new features and the improvements that are there in the Python programming language. But PEP8 is a Python styling guide. Some of the commonly used guides are for naming conventions, variables, functions, and modules are to be written in snake case. Snake case means every single character must be of lowercase and they can be separated by underscore. The classes have to have every word starting with a capital letter. For example, class, my class, M and C are in caps. And all the constants should have every single character in capital and can be separated using underscore. Another commonly used PEP8 styling guide is for code formatting, which says every indentation is equivalent to 4 spaces and we need to use 2 spaces after a colon. and all the lines should be wrapped at 78 characters or less. And to differentiate the different sections in a code, we need to use blank lines. Some of the other recommendations that are given in Pip8 are when we have imports, first the standard libraries must be imported, then the third-party libraries, followed by your own imports. It also recommends using comments to explain what the code does and also doc strings for all functions and classes. An example is shown here. We import the standard library import math and we can use it in main as math.py. We have third-party libraries like NumPy and Pandas. Here I have created an array of 3 elements using np.array and I've created a data frame with 2 columns, and PD here is again a third-party library. In the statement print my function of 10, my function is part of my own import and it is custom written. How to give comments in Python, either using a hash to represent a single line or triple quotes to represent multiple lines. Many questions on how to use indentation in Python. Indentation in Python is absolutely essential to determine the various blocks. For example, here if x greater than 10, then we have a colon. If there is a colon, then the set of statements following the colon is called as a suite. And in the suite, everything should have a indented statement and all the indentation should be of the straight line. For your example, result and if and else are all in the same indent. But the statement inside if should be of a different indent. What is the line continuation character? It is the backslash. And do we need line continuation character within brackets? No, we do not need it. And we can write multiple statements in a line with the help of a semicolon in between the statements. Finally, it is possible to assign multiple variables simultaneously in a Python code using multiple assignment operators, as in A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 1.